Hey guys, it's Matt. Only about once a year do I do a follow-up video based on what was put out or said the day before. And although I've said I'm going to do it many times, a video following up via the comments of what was posted under the video, I don't think I've ever done it one exclusively on comments. This could be the first, even though this video might stray into other things. I mean, my goodness, talking about some of the things that were left after yesterday's video, we'll get into in a second. But first, I want to say there's a core group of people here. I don't think it's the majority, but there's a core group of people, maybe 10%, that really find the comments just as important or more important than the video, whether it be an exchange of ideas or a sense of camaraderie or just looking for different opinions. And I have told or I've mentioned to that group many times over the years, I do try to keep the comments section as clean as I possibly can. And even though I've worked hard at it, I mean, the amount of junk that's coming in and stuff, guys, stuff you'll never even see. I mean, I've worked hard, but I don't know how much more I can do because there's so many people coming and going with the amount of subscribers that YouTube says are here. Things you'll never see. For example, someone will leave a string of 8 comments out of 12 or 10 out of 15 will be this one person and just a bunch of junk nonsense. Yeah, Matt, that was good. Like with no reference to what even part of the video it's talking about, or I appreciate the compliment, I guess, but mostly these strings that come in are a bunch of junk. And there was somebody that actually posted a comment where they ran. Again, I'm not trying to pick fights with anybody, but you know, they ran my video through an AI and then posted. The AI said timestamp. If you want, Matt talks about this part of the Thessalonians regarding Antichrist. You run my video through an AI and post that. No, that's not comment is not going to stick. Even if there is somewhat used to it in terms of, I mean, people generally sit down and listen to the whole video. If they navigate right to a certain point or part at 25 minutes in, they're not getting the context of what came before. So, so let me get to the first comment, which would have to be me answering Chuck. If Chuck's even listening, it sounds like Chuck has left me, has left us. Um, Chuck closes with "What a sad day," and I will close the same way. Chuck, what a sad day. See, Chuck has been here for years. Chuck has cataloged likely more quote mall slash school events, mall slash school not milk presentations. We'll just leave it like that. Has cataloged and tracked them more than basic maybe anyone else. I know Chuck's been here. He comes and goes in terms of the comments, but a long time. And the comment, I'm not going to read the whole comment. I certainly won't put any specifics about channel address or anything up for any comment that I look at. But Chuck says, Matt thinks he understands the Bible. He doesn't. Chuck, when did I say in 10 years that I understand the Bible? When? What I did yesterday was analyze 4 verses with specific attention on one word. How do you extrapolate the analysis of 4 verses with focus on one word into Matt thinks he understands the Bible? He doesn't. Um, I don't know how you get there from the analysis of 4 verses. In 10 years, how many times have I tried to fake being a Christian just to please certain groups or to never say anything because I want to please everybody? How many times have you heard me say just flat out, I'm not a Christian, but I appreciate the Christians that are here. And although we don't have the big one from their perspective in common, we still have a lot in common in terms of how we see the world or analyze the fraud. Been very clear on who I am. So Chuck couldn't possibly be going away from the channel because he now knows I'm not Christian when I've said it, I don't know, maybe hundreds of times over the, and this, my original YouTube channel was called Texas Shrugged, which goes back pushing 14 to 15 years at this point. So Chuck knows who I am. Matt thinks he understands the Bible. He doesn't. Never once said or claimed that I understand the Bible. I have looked at certain parts, and I think I'm allowed to analyze very specific parts. I've done a few times in the past, particularly on the mark of the beast or the number of the beast, 666. saying I don't think that Satan has anything to do with that verse in Revelation, that the beast is more what a man evolves into, or what the not wants a man to evolve into. So I have done that, I think, twice over the years, other than when I mentioned it yesterday, and Chuck didn't comment about me dabbling into the Bible. I guess I have no business. But Matt thinks he understands the Bible. He doesn't. And Chuck says, "What a sad day." He's going to go home and take his ball and go home. And what did I do? I simply, and I reiterated that those Bible verses are very clear, that the Bible is saying to me, and many did agree, that Antichrist is one that does not believe Jesus and God are one, and Jesus is God walking in the flesh. It was actually reiterating, um, I think, something that Christians would be happy that I stressed about those four verses. So I don't understand. But anyway, I mean, I'm harping on it a little longer than I should, just because it's Chuck. What possibly could I have done different? Would he think that I'm just never supposed to analyze even a sentence because a non-Christian shouldn't be doing that? I don't get it. There um, doesn't seem to be anything wrong with my analysis of what those verses were saying. Okay, let me find something else. It is a sad day, Chuck. All right, let me tell you about the next comment that I wanted to talk to you about that I already removed. I'll tell you why I removed it. You'll understand in just a moment. All right, I get to the comment, and it's this list of timestamps with different subjects or headings. First mention, I forget what they were, but first mention of John 1 associated with Antichrist. And somebody went through my entire video and timestamped why. And at the bottom, something about running it through an AI, a large language model that tried to summarize each section in terms of headings and titles and then timestamp everything. No, that's not going to fly at this channel for a lot of reasons. Many reasons I'm not going to talk about, but the main one should be obvious. The whole video, it's presented as a whole. I don't want someone to go down to a timestamp and say first mention of Antichrist referencing John 2. I don't want that. There has to be a whole context. Why am I even getting involved in the topic? People, obviously, most people here will sit back and they don't 1.25 it and they don't bathroom boy it and they're not trying to run out and just let me see what I can get out of this channel, this damn son of a beach truth area. They sit back, maybe they have a beer, they relax. It's not always as calm and as deep as midnight reality, but it's you take the whole thing in. Time stamping my video. Don't take your ball and go home if you did it. I'm not trying to pick a fight with you, but come on. Come on, man. That ain't gonna fly here. Let me see what's next. Here's one. You know the truth, but you hold back. No. Everything that I believe that I know, that is my opinion, I share with you immediately, and we all move forward together. People a lot of times, what have you read, Matt? What have you researched? Have you been initiated? No, I'm just a regular guy sitting in a spare bedroom that's just observing the world and trying to, putting the pieces together, and it's giving itself away so much that we don't need we don't need any more of these esoteric tomes to it's giving itself away. And it really is becoming easy at this point because its presentation is so obvious. So I'm not holding anything back, dude. I'm not sure the hell could I. My reality is basically I say it's a half page, but it's for the final book it'll be 3 pages. But since we've been saying it's a half page, I just continue to say that. Is there really a difference? You shrink all of reality into 3 pages. Is it so bad to that you don't, is that some sort of grounds for fraud to keep saying it's a half page when it's really 3 pages, when there's like 40,000 esoteric tomes that in the complete works of the Theosophical Society, whatever the heck that is. And okay, Matt, let's move on. One of my favorites here. You think there were no giants, you son of a beach? No, you think there were no giants You believe in Mars and Saturn? You believe in planets? Wow. I didn't realize I was at the wrong place all these days now. Thanks, Matt. Thank you, son. Thank you, son. Zelensky Auto Park. Really? Wow. Okay, let's start with this. I realized I was at the wrong place all these days. Yeah, days. You couldn't have been here very long. Uh, I said what? I say hundred of times that nobody gets a no tuna fish can goes nowhere. Go nowhere. How many times have I said that? Maybe, but see, it was in context. And when I know what the person's referring to, I was referencing Genesis 1. It is said in Genesis 1 that I was saying maybe this is a reason not to take it literally, that God created the earth in 6 days, on the seventh day rested. And then I made a joke. Well, how long did it take him to create Mars? So by that you referenced, by that you reasoned that I believe in planets and I believe in the JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and I'm a big fan of Elon Musk. You just can't see the poster up on my ceiling here, and you're going to take your ball and go home because Matt believes in planets. Actually, somebody that would leave that comment, I hope they never come back. And so does everybody else. Okay, this comment is a subject that was talked about in two different parts of yesterday's video, and it always comes back to me the same way, and here it is again. If this can be explained to me in a different sense, then I am open, I promise I'm open to changing my interpretation, but it always comes back the same way. Let me read it. We know the Bible hasn't been radically changed because we have thousands and thousands of full texts and fragments dating back to the early AD 50s for the New Testament and 300 to 100 BC for the Old Testament through the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Bible is the best sourced work of ancient antiquity. Even critics like Bart Ehrman, who the hell's Bart Ehrman? Ehrman admit that. Again, it's coming back to me in the exact same way. Element one here in the comment, it's always the same. We have thousands and thousands of full text and fragments. Okay, I'm going to assume the person that left this comment has never reviewed these full texts and fragments, wherever they may be. Where are these thousands and thousands of texts? Let's say you can go, are they in the Vatican Library? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Let's just say they exist, and this person could go off and look at them, pull out their little monocle and magnifying glass and go to the bottom of the Vatican Library and look at all these. How do you know what you're looking at? I mean, most of our community is in agreement that this thing here we call not milk or whatever you want to call it, this creep class, which we talked about Henry a few days ago, it's not the same as you and I, and it's been here a long, long time. You've heard truth channels throw around terms, or is it Bill Cooper and others, the Mystery Babylon and all this stuff. I don't talk about that stuff. I don't talk about that sort of thing that I have no understanding of. I can just observe what exists today, and it's likely that this group here that's not the same as us is here for a reason. I'm not going to get into, the three-page reality and what their role is in this reality system, but it's been here probably forever. That's been its role. So this person leaving the comment, let's just say you could go back in time and all these thousands of scrolls and things existed, and the original translation of the Greek and the Hebrew was directly from Matthew, Mark, John 1, John 2, whatever it may be in the Bible. It's who's been controlling it. I mean, Matt, don't say the same thing all over again. 1 minute or less. It's been in their control for at least 1,600 to 1,700, possibly 1,800 years, in control of creeps. Then it was given by creeps of what King James. Oh, he's the only king working for you. It was given by the creep class. Here, regular people, you can go. You can have this. Take it. We've been controlling it. How long you had it? I'm a little skeptical. Somebody might say, bring out your dead. Bring out those people and those peasants in those poor towns. Bring out your dead. How long you had that? I mean, you had it maybe just 20 months or so. You could. We've had it 1,800 years, but you trust it's for the original. And the other, this person's saying all the old stuff exists, Matt. So this power structure that's been around in this from bridging one to the next, 1,000, 800 years. Matt, don't you know the 1,000 years has been erased? No, I never heard that. I should take down the entire channel. I don't want to dabble in nonsense like that at this. Whether the 1,000 years is missing, who cares? Then they only had 1,000 years to change it or to create what they call the originals of Hebrew and of Greek. If they had the Zapruder film, they took 8 years before they gave it to Geraldo Rivera. I think he was the first one. Or it was that week. It was shown, or maybe it hit multiple outlets at once. It was Geraldo Rivera on a nighttime program presented to the world. The Zapruder report. It took him 8 years. When the guy was Zapruder was in it was Matt. Please, this is not about that. Okay, sorry. So if they had, even if it was just before the Whopper computer and the ENIAC or whatever, the first computer, they had to do it all by hand. If they had 10 months, they could recreate and fake the old document, saying it matches up with today's current Bible. I'm not trying to be blasphemous to the Bible. These are just facts that can't be ignored. I mean, there's a comment coming up. People get very upset. I'm not, Matt, you're going after the Bible. I talk about the Bible. There's a comment coming up. I talk about the Bible twice a year, once a year. Is this channel just about trying to bring down the Bible? When it's relevant to something like Antichrist conversation or what the mark of the beast is or the number of the beast, then I'm going to talk about it. I can't. Anyway, next one. So, Matt, you're believing in the not milk, which you made up, over the Antichrist, which is mentioned not just in the Bible, but in Islam and Judaism. Well, there's a lot more to this, guys, one thing at a time. So you're believing in the not milk, which you made up. No, I didn't make the not milk up. I made the name up. Is that the same thing? Really? So this evil, the corrupter, whatever here is to block us, to get us on the wrong path. So I made that up? Really? So I made the name up for that evil. Is that the same thing? Wow. So I believe in that, which I made up, over the Antichrist, which is mentioned not just in the Bible, but in Islam and Judaism. Okay, is it mentioned in Islam and Judaism? I don't know. I didn't bring my Quran to work today. I don't know. I don't spend too much time in the Eyes Wide Shut parties. Is anybody teaching the Kabbalah stuff? Who's doing the Torah class and the Talmud class? I ain't taking those class. I don't know. What I did yesterday was examine 4 passages in the Bible. So how is this relevant to what we were talking about? And I doubt, and again, what it says in the Bible in terms of what Antichrist is very, very clear from what we talked about yesterday. I doubt Islam puts forth that it's a very negative if you don't believe Jesus Christ is Lord. I'm no expert at it, but I doubt it puts that forth, and I doubt Judaism puts that forth either. Anyway, Satan is the prince of the air, blah, 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 blah. The Antichrist represents a society that has been influenced by this evil spirit. A godless society that will accept and worship an entity that will rule the world and lead all into brainwashed and into oblivion. Okay, that's generally, but that's still an extrapolation of not what's said in the Bible. What was so amazing to me, and one of the reasons I made the video yesterday, is it's very simple and clear. I mean, I'll say it one more time. How do you know that's what it means? It's just there. I can read. It says, if you don't believe Jesus is God in the flesh, that's Antichrist. It is that simple. How do you know, Matt? Because that's what the simple verses say. I mean, if it said, I'm not going to say that. I wasn't trying to be blasphemous, but that example would not go over well. The Antichrist represents a society that's been influenced. Well, that's extrapolation. Generally, a Christian could come and say, I guess, that if you don't believe Jesus is the God walking in the flesh and is actually one of the Trinity, then that would mean an evil would take over to influence a godless society. Okay, but that's not what it says. That generally, most people would agree with what you're saying on the back end, and Christians would agree, but that's not what it says. Sorry. And so, Matt, you believe in not milk, which you made up over the Antichrist. Okay, over the Antichrist. Again, what it says is crystal clear. That was one of the main points of my video. There is no the Antichrist, like the Damien Omen movies. It just says if you don't believe that Jesus is the flesh embodiment of God. If you don't, so this comment makes no sense. I don't know where people are getting this. It's not rooted to anything in the Bible. It's like it's made up. Okay, let's move on. The cadence before a hockey face-off isn't fake, 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 fake. You got it upside down, dude. The NFL and NBA are truther exposed as fake, rigged, and scripted, while the NHL is absolutely authentic. I I don't know what to. First off, let's just say that's true. What does that have to do with my discussion on Antichrist? Do you think I was actually making a statement about the NHL by saying fake, fake? It's just like what's played by the organ guy. It just comes out. I talk extemporaneously, dude. Oh my goodness. And so let me get this straight though. We could do a whole video just on this. So they're gigantic. The four major sports. Now there's a fifth, I guess, in the United States. You include Major League Soccer is pretty big, where 20 years ago it wasn't at all. So we have baseball, basketball, football, hockey, and Major League Soccer. So you're saying there's a gigantic sport inside of society and culture that the not milk has no influence on. Anyway, uh, let's just move on. Matt, you can't associate the Pope with Christians in your argument. We all know the Catholic hierarchy are all blank. I don't know what I can say. They're all blankanists, you know. Um, how long have you been here at this channel? Maybe a few weeks. If you only been here a few weeks, maybe you shouldn't be commenting. You know, if it's been longer. Matt, you can't associate the Pope with Christians in your argument. When did I do that? How many hundreds and hundreds of times over the years have I called out the Vatican as the not milk itself, basically, one of the key pillars of the not milk itself? How many times have I said, I don't understand? And I think just said that in the last video, I think, how there can be really nice, good people that help us in our pursuit of truth that are here, that are Catholic, considering how obvious it is, to me at least, that the Vatican is the not milk. The Roman Empire, they say, you know, evolved into the Catholic Church, and I do believe that is true for the most part. Um, but how do you associate? I didn't. I'm not associating the Pope and Catholics with other Christians. I never said other Christians are not milk, or I don't know where this stuff comes from. We all know the Catholic hierarchy are all blank, blank, blankonists. Pootie Tang Award. Not only talking about stuff like that, but how many times have we talked about the Vatican is like that three-legged stool of just these bizarro jurisdictions where there is no, they don't fit into the authority, or I don't know how to even talk about it. They're outside of the jurisdictions of the entire world. They answer to no one. They're their own bodies, like the corporation of the United States, the city of London, not London, but inside London, the city of London, and the Vatican, this three-legged stool of very strange jurisdictions that operate outside. I mean, we've been talking about this stuff for 14 years. I'm not sure where that came from. There were a few comments. One was very good about, you know, Matt. It's not even anti Christ. It's ante. The prefix anti means against, but ante means before. So it's actually referencing something before Christ. And look, all good points, but all I can say is, I mean, how are we to know that? Am I supposed to, if you know, if there are certain people at the Eyes Wide Shut party that they've been brought up in a certain way or have a certain connection or bloodline that will take the Bible and know that it's supposed to be read in a certain at the third level, the way, you know, Mike tries to figure out the memoirs of Billy Shears or whatever. Well, how am I supposed to know that? I can only take what's there. I can't just speculate and say, well, this must be ANTE. How am I? I don't know. I mean, ANTI is there, so that's the only analysis I can give. Your point is good, but how do we know? I mean, how would anybody know that how it hasn't been initiated and all this stuff? And at the Eyes Wide Shut party, I'm so tired of the stupid word initiated. I'm so, you know, matter. Have you been initiated? Oh, stop it. Stop it. That's why I'm so sensitive. Oh, we know. Matt, come on, tell them who you really are. I'm a guy that's been sitting in the same house for 22 years trying to figure out the world, dude. Um, no, and I don't, and I, we don't, we can do it ourselves. That's my biggest message. Everything we need to do here, we can do ourselves. Um, we don't need no club, we don't need no group, we don't need no book, we don't need no religion, we don't need no group. Everything we're here to do for ourselves spiritually. I believe, as many of us believe here, there's a part of me that is not here. We can do it ourselves. You don't need no initiation if you believe that. I like this one. I'm glad somebody trashes the Jake from State Farm campaign for the last 5 years. The person goes on to say, they had that funny one where they got the guy's on the phone with Jake from State Farm 5 or 7 years ago, and he's trying to get insurance quote. His wife comes down in the middle of the night. Who are you talking to? Jake from State Farm. Oh, really? What's he wearing or what's she wearing? Khaki. I mean, and he says it's all been downhill from there. Oh yeah, it has been. No different than Walt Disney and it's this whole theme of woke and SJW and what the movie studios are doing with the Little Mermaid and the gender swapping and the race swapping, and State Farm is right. If there's a separate little creepy kids table for the main corporations, the old money at this one, and Anderson Cooper is probably allowed to wheel up his high chair and eat there from time to time, where they push his and wheel him away. Then maybe there's a kids table, all of the top corporations, of which these old money are investors, and the State Farm would be in there. It is so not milk. They all are, of course, all the big insurance companies, but there are real creeps, and then there's the ultimate creeps. And you have Paramount Pictures, and you have Walt Disney. So who's a bigger creep, right? I mean, and State Farm is the biggest in the insurance realm for a lot of reasons. And what they did with this commercial, person on the new Jake from State Farm, um, seems likable on paper, but no. And then the fact that they put that horrible, wretched creature Mahomes, and his brother is even more horrible and wretched. These are companies that literally put up people that try to piss you off. First, and I don't, okay, we could talk about this for a long time. Don't they put profits first, Matt? Well, how do these people compare or hold up in the focus groups? Maybe Flo did hold up in the initial focus group in 1968, but I bet she doesn't now. If you're like, oh my God, Flo, get rid of her. Put that little Jamie in. I like the one that complains. The little girl that goes, my parents are coming. They should put her as the new head spokesperson. I wouldn't go buy from Progressive because that's actually they're Major League Not Milk too, just like State Farm. Anyway, sorry. Somebody had a comment that it didn't say Greta, but it said, "How dare you?" And it's got to be Greta. And I haven't thought about that little cyborg for a long time, but I laugh. And she doesn't. She's one of the not milk where I laugh, and it's just funny to me. I don't get upset. How dare you? It's just funny as heck. I could do a whole video on it. I'll do 1 minute or less. I mean, but if I had to speculate, now Greta's much older. I mean, than that initial "How dare you?" People put carbon, and she's now. I bet if she ever gave that same speech before the United Nations, the true demon, like a demon, would come forth. It wouldn't be the same. It would be scary if you were sitting in the first few rows. It would be like, carbon, how dare you? And then like maybe a little bit of flame would shoot out. Did you see that? What came out of her? Yeah, yeah. Greta, if you're listening, I apologize. I take everything back. I don't want to be visited you like I don't want to be visited by you like the ghost of Christmas past of carbon emissions. A good friend of the channel, just put it like that, left a link by itself, which I did remove. And I've never mentioned this, guys, but a link by itself I've removed for years. And it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, so I spend a lot of time, interacting with people, getting ideas, getting information, doing research, putting videos together. Even something like this. I mean, it's you just talk, Matt. How much time could this take up? There's certain segments that have to be completely redone because they just didn't. It takes a little more time than you would think. So especially ones where I put together like the Antichrist one. I mean, there's a lot of research and comparing. Okay, so then I put this effort into making the video, but then what does a link do? Just takes somebody right off my video. Why would I? If the link says this is really important support information, or Matt, this is a link that even it does, this person does a good job saying how wrong you are, or that you're not interpreting John 1 and 2 correctly in terms of its presentation of Antichrist. If there's a few sentences why the link is absolutely related, then it should be left, and I usually do leave those. But if just a link, so I put all this time in, and I'd want someone just to click a link and go to another video. Why would I allow that? Why would I do that? I think that makes sense. Matt, why don't you promote other truth channels? You don't want your followers going somewhere else? Well, not with leaving a link with not a sentence around it. In terms of that, a lot of reasons. Why don't I promote other truth? Because we are at a three-page reality. It's very simple. Part two, the work. My book is very long because you have to understand what those 3 pages are all about. But what other truth channels should I be recommending that support basically our half-page reality and transitioning to do the work, what we're here to do for ourselves without being blocked anymore? I'm supposed to recommend, looking at architecture channels where I believe everything presented in this world in some way, if it comes from the screen, it's part of the trick. If it comes from the screen, the outer ring of reality, I don't care if you can pick it up and it's heavy, or I don't care what it is. It's part of the trick. Who should I be recommending? I mean, I have. A third of them turn out to be trolls that come back and be trolls against me. So, I mean, you want to talk about how sick some people are to actually recommend a channel or two and then have them within weeks turn troll against you when you actually gave them thousands of people. I mean, that's the definition of sick. But those people must be, their intention early on was to be a troll. I mean, who supports, their efforts? I don't know. I can't imagine anybody on their own without support of some kind would just be so fixated on trying to bring down another channel. And that's a sickness in and of itself. But that's a reason. But I mean, and I have promoted some channels over the years. I don't do it much anymore, right? You, I don't watch any. What do you think? As soon as this video's done, I'm just going to start watching truther videos about Egyptian pyramids and what the aquifers were. I don't do that stuff anymore. I just don't. I try to find things that our community, I know kind of where we are at this point, would find interesting. And I make in 5 videos a week. I'm gonna come up short once or twice a week. I've had people comment that wasn't any good, or well, how many thousands of videos have I put forth? It's not always going to hit on. Should I check with you on the topic? Let me check with. Is this topic okay? I'm not gonna. I don't know if you watch 5 episodes of your favorite television show, one might suck. I'm just trying to do the best I can. Here's one we need to talk about. And again, guys, I hope people take this the right way. Half these people probably are going to just unsub, and there's too many people are take their ball and go home people. I mean, you left the comment. Come on, take it. I can take it. Give it back to me. Just don't take your ball and go home. All right. That's I have to be a little harsh at times, and it wouldn't be an entertaining video if I said this video still has merit. It's still very good, but here's why I slightly disagree. That wouldn't go over right. Well, it's not really my personality either, is it? So don't take your ball and go home. Well, here's one. We could talk about this one for a half hour. I don't think we will, but I can't help but notice that among atheists, it has become in vogue to refer to, in quotes or parentheses, the living God as a non-existing entity by using a lowercase letter in references to God's title. I think they just mean someone would type out God as lowercase God. I think that's what they mean. They must mean that, right? I wonder how they'd feel if others wrote their name a title with all lowercase letters, with the sole purpose of subjugating them. So I absolutely disagree with this comment. I absolutely understand what the atheists are doing there. I think there's a big difference in an atheist or anybody, me or any non-Christian, writing the term God or a proper name. So, for example, Yahweh, right? A lot of Christians use, give me some latitude on this. This is not my area of expertise. Don't they use Yahweh as the name for God, or as they will use Yeshua, right, for Jesus? Right? Okay, okay. It doesn't. I think I'm getting that correct. But if it was always Yahweh, for example, I think even the atheist would capitalize that. Unless, again, the angry atheists, there's a segment, they're very angry, that would just anything to go after them and put them down. But by typing, if they're typing a letter or something, or an email, and they say God, that would be the atheist. I totally disagree with this comment. It would be the atheist acknowledging that that is God. So whoever left this comment, you would expect the atheist to acknowledge with a capital that this is God when they don't have that belief set. If it was named Frank or James or whatever, I think they would. But it's God. Is that the title? Isn't even in the Ten Commandments. I've seen the movie. What do we call you? I am that I am. Or he doesn't say call me God. Doesn't say one part in the Bible, right? Call me. Okay, I can't say. I haven't been over. I talk on the fly. Except somebody will pin me down just now. Man, you don't know every bit of the Bible. Okay, I say things wrong from time to time. Just give me a little latitude, a little leeway. I don't think it says in the Bible, call me God, and every time. That's not the proper name. By capitalizing it, the atheist would be acknowledging that that's God. So you can't understand. And so they're not, the back part of this is their sole purpose of subjugating them. That's not the purpose of all. Even though atheists, again, can be very angry, and they do go out of their way to subjugate the Christian faith. But if you see a letter from an atheist and it says lowercase God, they couldn't attend the party because of their belief in God. They wrote, that's not trying to go after Christianity. Come on, man. Come on, sir. It makes perfect sense. I'm a non-Christian. I think about this all the time. And it depends, maybe, if I know I'm writing to someone that's very Christian, I might respect their faith. I don't think it affects me one way or another if I do lowercase or uppercase, but I think about it from time to time. Again, Yahweh, it's a different story. Do you understand the difference? Okay, I'm not going to re-record. I don't know if that made sense or not, but in the video yesterday, I said Antichrist is only mentioned 4 times. And since it's only mentioned 4 times and kind of like in passing, it's not commensurate with how famous that term is. And you can see how the Notnook has pushed that to the forefront where it's known worldwide and it's in thousands of movies and different forms of art, TV shows, etc. So one is not commensurate with the other. Okay, but so this person says, so I said 4 times because that's what I Google searched. My research is not shoddy, all right? But actually, Matt, it's 5 times in 4 verses. Not 4 times, it's 5 times in 4 verses. Is that really necessary? Does that help us? Okay. And what is it? Is it, I have it here. In 1 John 2-18, in one sentence, Antichrist is mentioned twice in the same sentence. Not in another part of the Bible, not in Matthew or Luke, in the same sentence, 1 John 2-18. But it was necessary to point out to me. It's just somebody has to be right and has to, it's not 4 times, Matt, it's 5. It's 5 times in 4 verses. Okay, does that really help us? But the other part here says, and it doesn't say Antichrist is coming. It says many Antichrists already in the world. My research is not shoddy. It never will be shoddy, especially when it's something this simple. Doesn't say it's coming, Matt. 1 John 4-2 and 3. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, of which you have heard that it is coming. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm not going to make those mistakes. I've mentioned comments, guys, in the past for just 5 minutes or so. I've never done a whole video. I'll look to your comments to see if this has been an absolute disaster or you want more of this or, but while we're doing it, I might as well say some things I wanted to say for a long time. If you've seen my comments back, one of my main comments is, hey, that's great, but how about just one more sentence, just telling us why? Here's one. Please watch The Man from Earth, a 2007 movie, period. That's it. Why? Just one more sentence, please, dude. Why? Is it related to what we're looking at now? Is it related to Antichrist? Is it what? Why? Like, please watch the movie Man from Earth. I know you're busy, dude. One sentence. Why we should watch? Oh, okay. This is a good point right here. We'll talk about briefly. Even Satan and Lucifer are vague and confusing in the Bible. And I think what this is primarily referring to is this debate that goes on that asks, is Satan and Lucifer the same entity? And for anybody that, a segment of people that want to scream at me, of course it's the same. And you can't say that. It's not my area of research, but I have been very interested in this over the years. I've seen many presentations, some saying it's the same entity, some saying it's two separate entities. I'm saying for someone to come forth making a presentation that it could be seen as separate entities, it's not baseless at all. And the point though is, why would the Bible leave that somewhat vague? Even if you believe it's not to you, it should be crystal clear. Why wouldn't it be? If these are the Gospels as they are actually carried forward, and even maybe that's not even the main point this person wanted to make. Tell us more about all these theories all the time. Theories. Well, the 666, one third fallen angels fell, and what it was Lucifer, and the Satan, if this is the evil in the world that is always in the world, then tell us more about it. So this is accurate. Why can't we? Why is this the one major issue I have on a lot of things? Why is there always so much room for interpretation? Why not? What's the It's from Contact, the movie Contact with Dr. Arroway and Jodie Foster trying to pretend she likes men. I mean, what does he say? He says, "Why the remedial math from space? Why don't they just speak English? Maybe because two-thirds of the planet doesn't speak it. Why didn't they just be clear? Is that so? Why can't it? Why does it? The KJV, it's hard to read sentence by sentence. Why not just be clear? I mean, that's a major. I don't know. I don't know how you take the other side to that. I don't know. You're going to say this, how many hundreds of thousands of words, the way the KJV is worded, that it's crystal clear and you know exactly what to do. And okay, I like John 3:16. I like that clarity. And people that stick by it, that this is the way, Matt. And, if you don't come through Jesus Christ, you're in trouble. I don't believe that, but I like the clarity of it. I like the simpleness of it. I think the whole Bible should be more like John 3:16. I respect people that latch onto that, and that's their tenet. Okay, well that makes sense. But it uses the word bake meats. Bake meats. I got that from one of Meeg's videos when she was doing Mandela Effect videos. I was very interested in I'm very Mandela affected, but watched a lot of videos when it first hit, 2016 through 2018, 2016 to 2018. I know. It is what it is now. Um, but she's emailed me in last year believing that I'm possessed by you know, I don't think so. I'll keep a lookout for it, but I don't think so. So that's a good point. And here's something else. We'll just roll right into this one. It's probably the last one. This is like a how dare you? You are extremely deceived, Matthew. Matthew, it's my mother calls me that. I respect that. Respecta. You didn't prove anything. Jesus is God made flesh. Well, first off, that's what I said. That's exactly what the Antichrist references in the chapter and verse. That's exactly how I interpret what they were saying. I interpreted the Bible the way you would want me to, and you're attacking me. Matt, I thought you said you can take it. I can take it. Jesus is God made flesh. There is a literal Antichrist that is in the world right now. Where do you get that from? Where'd you get that from? Show me in the Bible where you get that from. I looked at the only 4 verses, and they all say basically a form of the same thing, and none of them say anything about the Antichrist or anybody you could point out in the police lineup or like so again, the stuff's just made up. It is made up, but I'm deceived. This is made up. There is a literal Antichrist that is in the world right now. Well, okay, but if I'll take what you wrote literally, that this is not what they mean. Of course, it's not what they mean. As we interpreted the chapter and verse, if you don't believe Jesus walking in the flesh was God or part of the Trinity, that is Antichrist. Well, by this definition, there's a little Antichrist there in the world right now. That is technically correct, but that's not what this person means. The person means there's like a Damien from Omen 3 or something. That's what there is, an Antichrist in the world right now. So that's what they mean. Based on that, there's not one thing in the Bible that supports that. Not one sentence, nothing. I have no idea where people get this from. And he says, or she, I don't know, you are extremely deceived. How dare you? You didn't prove anything. I wasn't trying to prove anything other than what you would have to agree with me on, that the word Antichrist, its rise to fame and prominence, it is a stuffed Lenin to a degree. It's not a Pootie Tang. It's a Humpty Dumpty. It's mentioned 4 times in passing, but it's one of the most world famous words in the West, or one of the most famous religious terms anywhere in the world. Of course it is. It's not commensurate with just mention in passing in 4 short verses. That was my point. So you're not going to agree with that? I have no. I like this sort of. I don't know if I'm sounding mean. Matt, I didn't know you could be so mean spirited. Am I sounding that? I don't know. Sometimes I've never done this, and I do like to argue, and I do like to. What I said, eventually this channel might evolve into, when we've done the half page so many times, we've looked at the same things so many times. The Not always gives us something to talk about, so that I don't think there'll be a shortage of. But it might evolve into me just arguing with people, or maybe we'll do fight night. It's not going to be the whole channel. We'll do a debate night or something like that, and even allow little trolls. We'll get on online and do a live. You think I'd be able to defend myself in a debate adequately? Matt, you don't do live stream. Oh yeah, I'd be terrified of that. I used to speak in front of 500 to 1,000 people all the time, and I'd be terrified of live stream. Oh, that's why I don't do it. There's a reason why I don't do the live stream. Several reasons. When you wait for everybody. Is everybody here? Is everybody here? Who are we waiting for? And some segments don't come out right, or I misread the quote, and I re-record it. So I do cover some mistakes like that. Live stream. Who are we waiting on? We got the 5 people here? And then the chat starts. This mindless nonsense in the chat. Yeah, chat. The chat was completely relevant and supporting what was being said. I'd be very interested. When was the last chat you saw off to the side that was really great and supportive of what being said? Just a bunch of nonsense. Well, Matt, you won't do live stream. People bow down. There's a certain group inside Truth Community that live stream is all there is. And if there's something wrong with people that don't do it, we bow down before it. I assure you, I would be capable of doing live stream. I choose not to do it for a few reasons. This here is only part of a long comment, and overall, this comment says I'm missing a lot of things, but it's very intelligent and it's well thought out, and it's the type of comment that benefits all of us, whether we agree with every bit of it. But it's very long, so just one small segment. This is the thing that I've been complaining about that doesn't make any sense to me. Again, overall, it's a good comment, and I appreciate this sort of thing. The term Antichrist is understood to be, in other words, this isn't fair. I'm just taking a small part. The term Antichrist is understood to be either a specific person and or a type of person, and also a system represented by that type of person. Both are correct depending on the biblical context. Did did you even listen to my video yesterday where I read the exact chapter and verse of what it says very clearly, what Antichrist is? It's only 4 verses, and it's crystal clear. I mean, clearer than the Bible usually is in most areas. It says nothing about what you just mentioned. Where are people getting this? The term do I have to say it again? I'm not going to say it again, what it means in those 4 verses. The term Antichrist is understood to be either a specific person or a type of person. That is what it's understood to be by everybody on the street. There's no context for their understanding. And because everybody has that understanding, I'm saying there's the evidence of the not milk manipulation. It has to be. How did everybody get to that point from something that clearly says something else in the chapter and verse. That's the whole point of me making the video yesterday. It's a person. It's understood to be a person, a type of person, and also a system represented by that type of person. There's no biblical evidence whatsoever for anything you're saying. I, although the rest of the Matt, don't say the quote's good again. I'm sorry. Why are you bowing down before this person? Because it's very long, well thought out. It's not what I expected. Sorry. Both are correct depending on the biblical context. That's just there isn't. I don't know. It's just made up, I guess. Doesn't make any sense. Go read the 4 verses. Completely unrelated to anything I talked about it yesterday, but you get this all the time. The pneumonia that's circulating now is called myoplasma, blah blah blah. It's of course it goes on to say, and in different words, it's related to the renting of the movie with Carl Weathers, Action Jacksonation, and um, these comments, I just left it to talk about it, but they get immediately deleted. This is not. Remember in the early days of the internet, say the mid '90s to late '90s, even early 2000s, there were message boards. Or was it called RSS or something? Message boards. This ain't message boards. I would just hope the comment would kind of either agree or disagree with what's being presented, or more importantly, add to our understanding so we can collectively move forward. This ain't truth or message boards. No, it's not. So that and it's going to get usually these get Pootie Tang awards too. I didn't know about this, but I don't care about it. Let's come up with another name, not Pootie Tang award. It's something completely not related. For now, it'll be truth or message boards, and that's not what the comment section is under these videos. Thank you. I'll close with this one. This has got to be some kind of joke, and I've seen the commenter so many times over the years, but it's got to be a joke. I'd be remiss if I didn't tell our community that Liquid Loans has finally launched on Pulse Chain, and it's beautiful. But I know this commenter is unpredictable. Put it this way, this person could be excited about a new loan product called Pulse Chain Liquid Loans, and they're actually trying to help us out. I think it's a joke, but it's a joke to me. That's all. That's all that matters. But this person's comments, it's a little bit hard to predict from time to time. So that's it, guys. But let's not forget it's been a few months or so. Everybody knows Bill does our posters. Bill puts a lot of effort into it. He's not just going to Stable Diffusion. Give me post Stable Diffusion. He talks to Siri. Give me posta on Voyager and make it funny. He not just typing into Mid Journey. He loathes that shit. He does. It's all layering, Photoshop. I mean, this is his background. And Bill, thank you. Everybody appreciates the posters that you put in. Huge. There's always a new poster for a video. Thank you, Bill, and thanks everybody for tuning in. And let me know if you think this was mean-spirited or a certain side of me. Like, remember I dated that girl Missy, and I had 4 beers in me or so, and I was about the Oscars, like those sons of bitches. I was like yelling at the TV about the Oscars. They're all not milk, and I didn't talk about that stuff in front of her. I wasn't where I was at today, but I was just complaining about how corrupt the Academy was, and she says, I don't like this side of you. I don't like it at all. I don't want to see this side of you. If this side of me is coming out, well, it is me, but generally I don't want to seem like an asshole or anything. So I'll look to your comments. Thanks.